Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Right now I'm in Dubai, on my way to get some Egyptian food, but there's something I really need to talk about. I wasn't really sure how to approach this video, but it's something that's really important. As you may have noticed, I haven't posted in the past maybe 2 weeks or something. I just came back home, back in Dubai, my home base, after coming back from Russia. And there's a lot of complicated things about the whole Ukrainian thing. So I want to sit down and get some food, and then we'll go home and talk more about this. Very good food. I like Egyptian food. Okay, let's go home. I want to sit down because there's the main things I need to talk about today. It's not even so unplanned. I don't even have my GoPro. I'm filming with my phone today. That the main things I need to talk about are, number one, about Anna and Anna's situation. And then the other main thing I need to talk about is how the whole travel world is completely disrupted by what happened. All the flights, you know, oil, how all of this affected the world of travelers. So let's go home, I'll sit down. Okay, back home now. So, like I said, there's like two main things, and that's firstly about Anna, and then the second half is talking about how travel in general is affected. So firstly, I want to talk about Anna, because a lot of people have been commenting in videos, or they've been sending me messages or personal messages asking how Anna is. Some of you probably remember her. She's been on my channel a lot of times, but she's most importantly a really, really good friend. I met Anna maybe a long time ago. It's been easily over a year and a half, maybe something like this, that I've known her. Actually, yeah, because I think we spent the New Year together, and then we went to Jordan together in April. She came for my birthday to Egypt back in October, and then she was just here in Dubai the other month. And whenever I can, I go visit her in Ukraine. I think I was in Ukraine 4 times last year, leading up to this whole conflict. And so obviously that was my number one concern when all of this stuff broke out, is Anna, is she okay? What's her situation? Because where she lives, the place that I'd been to many times to go visit her, was at the subject of a lot of this. The first few days of fighting, it was really, really intense where she was living. And the first and most important thing that I kept seeing then is videos sent by other Ukrainian people or through other kinds of channels to get actual like content, I guess, but actual videos of what's happening on the ground in Ukraine. And it's literally places like I'd been before. There's dead soldiers and everything in the streets. And Anna was relaying the exact same situation. She was saying it was very, very bad. And so it was apparent from the beginning that we had to help her get out of the country, but it was just insanely difficult to get out. But the long story short for Anna is that she safely got out of the country a few days ago. And so now I'm not going to go into too much detail, not only just for her, but yeah, so I'm just not going to go into too much detail, but she's out of the country. She's safe now. It was extremely difficult for her to get out. She was telling me the stories of getting across bridges that are blown out, to crossing, you know, Russian soldiers with their AK-47s, gas stations blown up and everything, and having to hitchhike out of her village to get to the place where she can get out of the country. So to answer that question then, Anna is okay. And her family, it's very complicated. There's lots of things happening. Men aged 18 to 60 aren't allowed to leave the country, and so there's all kinds of complications. Anyway, so I'm going to save that for another time. Maybe I'll talk to Anna if she feels comfortable sharing that stuff. But at least she is safe. Okay, but the other thing that I need to talk about is how the whole travel world has been just completely uprooted like a tree, just pulled out for a variety of different reasons. The two main things, the reasons why travel is very, very profoundly messed up right now. Number one is the airspaces. You may remember at the beginning, and also, I'm sorry, if whatever day you're watching this video, you can probably see in the description what day I'm posting this video. I'm sure things have changed, you know, things are always evolving. That's part of the reason why I wanted to wait. But at least the way it is now is that there's the no-fly zone. And so that was imposed first by the West, that no Russian aircraft can enter into Europe, essentially. And then a tit-for-tat kind of thing, then Russia did the exact same thing, that you guys can't cross our airspace. Now, if you just look at the map and you just think like, okay, Moscow flying to Berlin, okay, you know, if these countries can't operate together, okay, it's not the end of the world. The main, most important thing of how it's affecting the travel industry is that Russia is massive. It's huge. And so anytime you want to go anywhere of greater distance, then you're going to be overflying Russia. And so, for instance, if you're going to be flying from, let's say, you know, British Airways, there's lots of Indians that live in the UK. And so if you want to take that route from the UK to Britain, or from the UK to India, you know, if you're going to take British Airways, then British Airways as a UK airline, they're not allowed to fly over Russia anymore. And so they're going to have to make, instead of like going from, if you can kind of visualize what I'm thinking, instead of having to go like this, now they kind of have to like go in like some kind of weird loop-de-loop. So it's adding extra time. Same thing if I'm trying to go from the United States, if I'm going from Los Angeles to Tokyo or Los Angeles to New Delhi, I'm going to take American Airlines or Delta or United or something like this, and they won't be able to go over that Russian airspace anymore. And so then they have to go around, basically flat along the Pacific. They follow the Coriolis effect, and so it's complicated. But it's adding a lot of time. More time equals more fuel equals more cost. And then the other part of our problem is also the oil. I think Russia produces, it's the third largest producer of oil in the world, I think. And so that being said, if that rug is pulled out, then the whole world oil supply is just like in free fall right now. Same with natural gas, but at least for oil, that's how it's affecting planes, because that's going to cause the flight tickets to go up a lot. So those are the two main things. But one interesting thing that I do want to talk about, perhaps the reason why I'm actually talking about this, is what my predictions are for how the travel world is going to kind of shake out from fixing this all. So the most important thing to remember right now is that essentially these aircraft, these airspace bans where they can't go across each other, that's almost all exclusively just like between Europe and United States, Canada, but like basically the West versus Russia, okay? Anybody that's not in that equation, they're free. I mean, they're not, unless, you know, they're trying to get involved or something. Most of these countries, they're keeping their lips tight, because if you're not getting involved in this whole, you know, direct conflict, if you can sit on the outer edge, then you can kind of escape a lot of the afterfall, the economic, you know, tumble that's coming. And so that being said, I want to make some predictions about the travel industry. So, for instance, United States, we banned Russian oil. We, as an American citizen, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, so Russia is not allowed to sell their oil, and then also, you know, Europe is cutting it off and everything. That doesn't mean, though, like Turkey has been like pretty quiet about all this. India, you might remember that in the first few days of all the conflict, the UN got people together and they basically made a vote on like whether or not we should condemn Russia over what's happening, you know, whether we should get mad or not. And interestingly, India decided that they're going to abstain from the vote. So they didn't say yes, they didn't say no, they just said, we're not going to vote. And because they didn't vote, same thing, you know, Turkey did the exact same thing. And so they were trying to stay out of it because they don't want to be involved in this war that's going on between them. It doesn't involve us. And so that being said, India is still allowed to fly over Russian airspace. So India is still operating flights to Moscow, surprisingly, or unsurprisingly. The United Arab Emirates as well. It took them like 5 days or something before they just said very simply that both sides should restrain and use peace and consider humanitarian issues, which is a very UAE thing to say. UAE is kind of like very diplomatic in that whole region, in the whole Middle East. And yeah, so then they're not getting involved either. The UAE is still allowed to fly to Russia. And so Emirates, Fly Dubai, Etihad, all these airlines, Air Arabia, I mean, they can all go up to Russia. And so Turkish Airlines as well. One interesting kind of fact is that Turkish Airlines, that they are trying to be the first airline in the world to fly to every country on the planet, which is actually a really fascinating thing. I think they're planning for like 2030 to make this plan come true, and that involves even a flight all the way out to the little oceanic island way in the Pacific Ocean, way far away from Turkey, the little island of Nauru. They're going to fly scheduled service out there, which is very, very odd. Nauru is only like 12,000 people on an island in the middle of nowhere, but then they'll be flying to every country on the planet. Quote, motto. Anyway, so to wrap this up then, I foresee then that certain airlines, specifically like Turkish Airlines, I could see Indian Airlines in general all performing pretty okay coming out of this. Air India, probably. Air India is kind of like growing in this kind of field. And of course, I think I said the UAE airlines, so Etihad, Fly Dubai, Emirates, I could see them all performing pretty well on the other end of this, because everybody else, Lufthansa is out of the game, Aeroflot out of the game, British Airways out of the game, all these guys, even Ryanair, I mean, they're not doing anything either. So it's a really intriguing time of travel. Anyway, so I'm going to try to wrap it up, keep it short there. Those are the two main points that I wanted to talk about. But like I said, the reason why I was kind of abstaining, the reason why I was holding back from posting more videos is that the last time I posted was almost exactly 2 weeks ago, I think. But it was the end of my Russia series, and that was right before everything was starting to hit the fan. And so I was really stuck in that, on one hand, at that same time, I'm working frantically to try and help my friend escape Ukraine, who's getting shelled by Russia. But then also at the same rate, then I had, I think, 1 or 2 videos left in my Russian series, and it just felt completely wrong and disrespectful to post any of that Russian content. And so I just decided to take a pause on it. There was actually, like I said, 2 videos, I believe, left of Russia that were actually going to be pretty interesting videos. One of them was like the longest domestic flight in the world, where I take off at 2:30 and arrive like 12 hours later, same exact time, same day at 2:30 on like the other third of the planet. But I think for those videos, I'm just not going to post them. I think it's just too insensitive for right now. So I'm going to save them, put them in the archives, maybe months down the road, when all this is behind us, then maybe I'll consider posting it, just in the sheer face of it just simply is travel content, because it's just interesting travel content, and it's not political content. And I try to keep away from politics in this video. I'm sorry for anybody, that feels whatever between the whole Russia and the West thing. A lot of people, either jokingly or realistically say to me, oh, United States, you're blah, 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 blah. I'm a traveler, I'm a musician. I hope that we can all understand each other and not, start any fights or any of this kind of stuff. And I appreciate my community. I appreciate you guys over this kind of thing. We're real people. We talk one-on-one, even though I'm just talking to a camera right now. But you sitting at home, I like to think that we're all pretty close. And every time I'm walking around, whether it's Dubai or India or something, that people come up and say hi, and we act and treat each other like friends. Go get tea, offer each other, go get food, because the people on my channel are good people. Anyway, so that all being said, as for what to expect, after I left Russia, so I'm just going to hold on to those last videos. I came back to Dubai for a few days, and then I went to India. So I'm going to edit all that content, and I'm going to put that out there pretty soon. So you'll be seeing those videos coming up very, very soon. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up here. I know I'm talking. I'm a very talkative person, though. And so I like keeping people in the loop, too. Anyway, so stay safe. Have a good weekend. I don't know. I don't know what to say at the end of the video. This is always the hardest part. Anyway, okay, goodbye.